late afternoon at First Oceanic Bank on Aba Road in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. The bank was crowded, lines stretching all the way to the entrance. Customers signed impatiently, shifting on their feet, checking their watches. Frustration filled the air. Behind the counter, Brittany Wallace, a young teller with tired eyes, typed away at her computer. She had worked at the bank long enough to know which customers mattered and which ones didn't. In her mind, the elderly woman standing before her wasn't worth much attention. Linda Carter, a 73-year-old retired school teacher, stood quietly clutching an envelope in her trembling hands. She has always been independent, never wants to ask for favors, but today she had no choice. She had noticed strange fees deducted from her account, small amounts, but enough to hurt her already tight budget. Living on a fixed pension, every penny mattered. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her voice. "Good afternoon," she said politely. "I believe there has been a mistake in my account." Brittany barely glanced at her, signing in frustration. "What's the matter, ma'am?" she asked in a tone that made it clear she didn't really care. Linda slid the envelope forward. "I was charged fees. I don't understand. Could you help me?" Brittany smirked. "Ma'am, if you don't have enough money in your account, you'll be charged fees. That's how bank works." People in line turned to words. Some whispered among themselves, while others simply ignored the situation. Linda's face flushed with embarrassment, but she refused to leave without answers. Before Linda could say another word, a deep, commanding voice called through the air. "That's no way to treat a customer." The room went silent, heads turned. Standing just a few meters away was Raphael. Brittany's face went pale. Linda looked up in surprise. Raphael stepped forward, his gaze locked on the teller. "This woman deserves respect," he said, his voice firm, "and I suggest you start treating her like a valued customer." The bank manager rushed over, suddenly looking nervous. But Raphael wasn't done yet. He had seen too much injustice to let this slide. The bank lobby was silent. Every customer, every teller, and even the security guard had their eyes locked on Raphael. Linda Carter, the elderly school teacher, looked up at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. She had come here today to fight for dignity. She never expected someone else to fight alongside her. "That's no way to treat a customer." Ra's voice echoed across the lobby, his piercing gaze locked onto Brittany, the rude teller. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the keyboard, suddenly eager to help. "I apologize, sir," she stammered, her confidence from earlier completely gone. But Raphael wasn't buying it. He turned to the bank manager, a middle-aged man in a sleek navy suit, who had just reached over sensing trouble. His name tag read Michael Stevenson, branch manager. "I hope this is how you let your employees treat elderly women," Ralph said, his voice calm but firm. Stevenson forced a fixed smile. "Of course not, Mr. Raphael. We value all our customers." But the truth was about to be exposed. Linda, still clutching her envelope, spoke up. "Sir, I have been charged fees I don't understand. I live on a fixed pension. I just need an explanation." Ralph folded his arms. "Then explain it to her right now, right now." The manager smiled further. "Let's move to my office, ma'am. No need to cause a scene." But Ralph shook his head. "No, we're doing it right here." The manager hesitated. The tension in the room grew thicker. Then, reluctantly, he typed Linda's account number into the system. His face darkened. "This can't be right," he murmured under his breath. Ralph leaned in. "What's wrong?" The manager hesitated, then sighed. "Mrs. Carter's account has been charged repeatedly. Service fees. That doesn't match any standard charges. These are irregular deduction." Linda gasped. "So I was right. I was being overcharged." Brittany, the teller, looked down, avoiding eye contact. Customers stared, whispering. A young man pulled out his phone, recording the scene. "This isn't just a mistake, is it?" Ralph pressed. "How many other elderly customers have been affected?" The manager swallowed hard. Sir, I can assure you. Ralph cut him off. Check the record right now. The entire bank waited. The manager's fingers shook as he typed. Then his eyes widened. The system showed a pattern. Elderly customers, repeated dictation, unauthorized fee, a banking scam exposed. The realization hit like a lightning bolt. This wasn't a simple mistake, this was a scheme. Linda's hand trembled. So they've been stealing from people like me. Ralph jaw claims. Then exactly what is that's what exactly it looks like. The whispers in the bank turned into outrage. Customers checked their phones, their account. Some gaps, others cursed under their breath. This is theft, Ralph declared, and someone needs to be held accountable. The manager's face turned pale. Brittany looked like she wanted to disappear. Linda straightened her back, her voice no longer shaking. I want my money back, and I want every victim compensated. The crowd murmured in agreement, but the battle wasn't over yet. Someone else had been pulling the string behind the scene, and they weren't going to let this dirty little secret come out without a fight. The bank was in chaos. Customers whispered, phones recorded, and the manager, Michael Stevenson, was sweating under the weight of Ralph's gaze. So, let's get this straight, Ralph said, his voice low but powerful. You've been stealing money from elderly customers like Mrs. Carter. Stevenson swallowed hard. It's not like that. This is Australia, an elderly man in a brown cardigan shouted. I've been charged the same fees. Another woman gasped, showing her phone screen to the people around. Linda Carter clenched her face. How many people have people done this to? Brittany Detail looked like she was about to faint. I was just following orders, she murmured. The manager rubbed his temper as if searching for an escape. But Ralph wasn't about to let him off the hook. You're hiding something. Who told you to do this? The entire bank fell silent. It's Stevenson's sign. It wasn't my decision. Then who was it? The manager hesitated. Then he glanced at the security cameras. Ralph caught the look. He looked around, scanning the room. Something was off. That was when the glass doors of the bank suddenly swung open. A tall man in an expensive suit strode inside, flanked by two security guards. His grey hair was slicked back, and his eyes carried the confidence of someone who had never been questioned. I am Richard Kingston, Senior Vice President of First Oceanic Bank. What seems to be the problem here? The room tensed. This wasn't just a branch manager trying to cover up fraud. This was bigger. Ralph squared his shoulders. Your bank has been stealing money from elderly customers. We just caught it. Kingston didn't even blink. Instead, he smirked. Mr. Ralph, I appreciate your concern, but you're mistaken. Linda stepped forward. So all these extra fees on my account, those were just a coincidence? Kingston smirked widening. That's banking, ma'am. Fees, policies, fine print. It's all part of the system. The crowd erupted in anger. This is robbery, one man shouted. I want my money back, another woman demanded. But Kingston remained calm, too calm. That was when Ralph stepped closer. You were not just covering up fraud, you were running it, aren't you? Casey chuckled, adjusting his cufflinks. That's a bold accusation, but you have no proof. A voice rang out from the back. Actually, we do. Everyone turned. Standing near the ATM was a young bank employee clutching a flash drive. Her name tag read Sophia, financial analyst. I have all the files, she said. Every legal transaction, every account that has been affected, everything. Casey's smirk disappeared. The bank fell into an eerie silence. All eyes were on Sophia, the young financial analyst holding the flash drive, the key to exposing the bank's corruption. I have all the proof, she repeated, gripping the device tightly. Every fraudulent charge, every manipulated account, every naira stolen from innocent people like Mrs. Carter. Ralph smirked. Well, Mr. Kingston, looks like your little scheme is over. Richard Kingston's jaws clinked. You don't know what you're talking about, he growled. Hand over that drive now. But Sophia took a step back. No, she said, her voice shaking but determined. This isn't just about money. People's lives have been ruined. They deserve justice. Ralph crossed his arms. So what's it gonna be, Kingston? You can admit your fraud now, or we can take this to the authorities. The crowd murmured in agreement. More customers were now checking their bank statements, realizing they too have been scammed. Linda Carter took a deep breath, stepping forward. All these years, I trusted banks like yours, and this is how you repay us? Kingsley's smug expression flattered. He glanced at the security cameras flanking him. Then, without warning, he snapped his fingers. The two security guards launched at Sophia. Hey, Ralph roared, stepping in just in time. With lightning speed, Ralph caught one of the guards' wrists mid-wing and twisted it back, making the man yelp in pain. The other guy grabbed for Sophia, but she dodged, clutching the flash drive to her chest. The crowd grabbed. Some customer even started recording. Linda's heart pounded. Was this really happening? The first guy swung at a punch, but Ralph dodged, then delivered a clean uppercut. The man stumbled back, crashing into the decks. The second guy hesitated, but Ralph's glare was enough to make him freeze. Anyone want to try? He said. The guy raised his hand in surrender. Customers said, chanting, give them justice, give them justice. Even some bank employees were stepping forward now. One teller ripped off her name tag and threw it on the floor. This is wrong, she said. I'm not covering up for this cruise anymore. Casey's face was red with rage, but before he could react, Sophia turned to Ralph. Ralph, we need to take this to the authorities now. Ralph nodded. Let's go. Then he turned to Kingston one last time. Your time is up. As the crowd cheered, Kingston's face turned pale. Ralph stood tall, his feet clean, ready for anything. Sophia held the flash tightly, the evidence of the bank fraud activity secured in her grip. The crowd of customers watching in anticipation started recording the entire scheme on their phone. But just when it seemed like Kingston was cornered, he made a run for it. Stop him, Sophia shouted. Ralph took off after him, his powerful strides closing the distance fast. The crowd grabs as the corrupt bank VP pushed past an elderly man, knocking him to the floor in desperate escape attempt. Linda Carter, still shaking but determined, turned to the stunned bank employees. Are you just going to let him get away after everything he's done? One of the tellers, who had thrown down her name tag, sprang into action and pressed a security button under her desk. A loud alarm blared through the bank, and the exit door locked automatically. King strided to a halt, realizing he was trapped. Spinning around, Kingston reached into his jacket pocket. The customers grabbed as he was pulling out a weapon. Ralph rushed forward, tackling him to the ground. The crowd erupted in cheers as Ralph pinned Kingston down, twisting his arm behind his back. You're not getting away that easy. Just then, the sound of siren filled the air. Two police officers stormed into the bank, weapons drawn. What's going on here? One of them demanded. Sophia stepped forward. We have proof that Richard Kingston has been stealing money from elderly customers like Miss Carter. The officers exchanged glances. One of them pulled out a pair of handcuffs and yanked Kingston to his feet. You are under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and attempted assault, the officer said. Linda Carter felt tears swell up in her eyes. Finally, justice. With the fraud finally exposed, the bank's new management promised to refund all stolen money and launch an investigation into similar case. I've come to the end of this story. I hope you did enjoy it. If this is your first time, you're highly welcome. For my returning subscribers, a big thank you.